Well, hello everybody.
Woo!
Monday night, we are excited to be back with you. It is 8 on the nose.
Yes!
Welcome to Monday Night Live. And look who's back.
Hello! It's me, it's Kate, if you forgot who I was.
Kate Semmens is back. I'm Dean Nixon, Kate Semmens, TurningLeaf Wellness Center in sunny St. George, coming at you in 3 different platforms. So as you see our eyes drifting from different screen to screen, please forgive us. There's nothing wrong with us. Don't adjust your screens. It's just we have too many little lenses to
be honest, we try to
keep
line
up
up all of the cameras up, but all we have to do is like stare at this blue dot. But when you're recording yourself, you're not staring at a blue dot, right? Like, you gotta look at yourself and make sure you're in camera and you don't have spinach in your teeth or a zit on your cheek. See, I brought it
There
up.
you go. She brought up her zit. She's gonna talk about it. I'm gonna talk about my zit.
You just gotta talk about the elephant
Put
in
it
the
out
room.
there. Put it out
and then
there.
it can be done.
Well, hello everybody. Hello Moira. And it is so great to see everybody coming online and tuning in. So tonight, without further ado, we better jump in because we will run out of time as usual.
Yeah, we never really have a lack of stuff to talk about over here.
Especially when they get the two of us talking.
Oh, yay, Jackie. That's so sweet of you. Thank you so much. She says, Kate's back. Yay.
Yes, Kate is back. Sorry you had to deal with me last week.
No, and I guess I should just take a minute, you guys, and just thank you from the bottom of my heart. My father's memorial services were just this last weekend. So many of you have just shouted out and done private messages and just like really reached out. If I didn't message you back, please don't take it personal. It's just like a kind of a roller coaster time to be able to always reach out and say thank you. I don't know, it's not exactly one of my best skills, but please know that all of your, hey, I'm thinking about you and you're in our thoughts and our prayers. It all means so very much. And so I'm just been really grateful to you, to our community. We have just such a really cool thing being able to be with you and for you accepting us into your lives every week. And as often as you come in and participate in the workshops and the seminars and life coaching and everything else that we do around here, please know that I'm just so grateful. Like it has been really so touching for me to be able to have you reach out. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the memorial service was beautiful. So
yeah.
It was a great tribute to her father. Yeah. So our hearts are with you. Thank you, Kate, for sharing that. It's always tough to be in the public eye at times with those types of things. So we will jump into our topic. Yes. Thank you, Angie, for tuning in as well. And we're excited to get going. So tonight, we wanted to kind of keep moving on the topic I was sharing last week.
Mm-hmm. In your life.
In my life. And
however bouncy. So good job for hanging in if you got the bouncy camera.
God, there were different ones. Like there were some that were like all jittery and others. I don't know what happened last night. That's what happens when Kate's not around. So I wanted to keep talking about this concept of our self-programming, our ability to really be in control of what's coming into us and what we allow our construct or our mental construct to be, and how oftentimes we slip into that theta and that we, as we talked about the 3 stages of consciousness, which you know I'm always talking about, and how it's so important for us to be mindful. And it was just really intriguing. This last Friday, I was invited to be on the Kate Daly show on 1450, which was really always exciting. It's always nice when she invites me on. And we really got into this topic as well, and I kind of want to explore it a little bit more tonight.
Yeah, and I love it. I'm all about this as well. In fact, I'm reading a book right now that's called A Course in Miracles, and in my study this morning with it, it talked about how absolutely everything in our world begins as a thought. Right?
Right.
And I'm not talking like globally, even though that's the existence, like even individually in your own sphere, in your own world, it starts as a thought. And so I love that we're exploring this idea of what it is that we consume and how much it really does affect us.
Right. And that thought, that those belief systems, that construct, it is either limiting or it is empowering. Mm-hmm. And that's the part that we have to recognize. And so my concern with it, as always, is who are we letting into our minds? Mm-hmm. Who are we letting in there?
Oh, and it's exciting and it's terrifying all at the same time, especially in our world that is so informationally saturated.
Right.
Right? Like you can, I mean, all that people are always telling, I'm sure it happens to you guys too. They're always telling me, oh, did you hear about this? Or did you read this statistic? I'm like, you can find anything you want on the internet. Like anything you want to prove about a particular point, all the different angles can be argued and you can find what it is that you want to find, right? So,
right.
And then you just multiply that
Yes.
times infinity for all the different things that we have coming at us.
Yes,
Yeah.
I've as you say that, it is. And we are so media driven.
Mm-hmm.
We are a media driven society. We are sponges by nature, which is one of the gifts and the qualities about who we are, is we're sponges by nature.
Mm-hmm.
And so because we're consistently learning, we are consistently going through this process, there's a process that we've skipped. And the process that we've skipped is this cause and effect concept, where we have to recognize that there is a cause and an effect. There's a consequence to any action, whether it be positive or negative.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And so a lot of times we miss that cause and effect. And we get caught up in this media-driven culture that's just coming at us. And it's showing us all the effect.
Right.
But we're not seeing the cause. So it leaves us, the viewer, to kind of assume and make tons of assumptions about the cause. So, do you follow me so far?
I absolutely.
So we're making these conclusions, we're making these assumptions based upon this cause or this effect. What is the effect? Then we go, well, what must be the cause? Well, the cause must be. And so if I'm getting on Facebook or Instagram, for example, and all I see are all these families on vacation, then all I see is effect. I don't see cause. And all I see is this little snippet in the window. So now I start making decisions and I start saying, okay, my life is not as good as theirs because. And so I'm not really looking at cause. I'm not looking at effect. I'm not looking at what did they have to do to create what they created, what trials, what struggles, what challenges, who's not with them on the family vacation, what quarrels have they had, what contention, what sacrifices.
Yep.
We don't see any of that. All we think is, wow, I'm not doing good enough.
Yeah, clearly my life isn't matching up.
Right. And so we take all of this information in. We are obsessed with celebrities. We're obsessed with rock stars. We're obsessed with athletes and all these people that live in this fake construct that has no cause to it. It just shows us effect. And that's what really concerns me, is because so many people that are coming in that I'm working with on a regular basis, is we have to go through the cause and effect with them in here to try and help them recognize, oh, okay, I do have more control over my life. I can control my outcomes. I can create the world that I want to create, but I have to stop looking at this fake world that doesn't exist.
Right, like what is not real. And I think another piece to this too, just talking on the immediacy of our life, is we're so used to instant gratification, right? Like it's really easy to get a quick fix, to get on Amazon, order something, and it better be here within the next 24
I love
hours.
Amazon.
I do too. But it better be here, or I'm going to get my shipping money back, or I'm going to, like get reimbursed for that because it's now, right?
And I need it now.
But so much of what it is that we're talking about, like with our consumption and our thoughts and everything, it's not an immediate show up in my life, right? Like it could be something that you started creating months, years ago, and now here we are, and you're like, holy crap, why is this happening? Like I don't understand what's going on. Hang on, sorry, I forgot to take my phone off Wi-Fi, so I'm just gonna do that really quick so we don't have that connection interruption anymore.
And we're back on Instagram.
Hey, what's up?
So you were saying?
Yeah, so I think, and you and I have talked about this a lot in my own personal life coaching sessions with you, but it's that idea of sometimes we plant stuff and we don't see that harvest for a minute, or it may even show up in a completely different field.
It may have a totally different yield, and that's the part that's where this cause and effect issue is really warped, because in our minds we should have six-pack abs because the person on us told us that I'm a keto diet, or I'm exo, ego, what are the different things that
yeah,
you know,
mesomorph,
mesomorph, and I
it
should be all these different things, and why am I not? And it's because, well, it's not just that. There's more to it,
right.
and so we get into this belief pattern that you're talking about. We don't see the cause, we just see the effect, and then we make the decisions about it. Here's my second point to this whole thing. So I'm metering our time. We're halfway. I've got to make sure I make my second point. So here's my second point to it is we have a beautiful imagination, and that imagination has been given to us to create and become creators. We are the creators of our own world. We can create whatever we choose as long as we believe that we can. The problem is that we believe that we can't because all we focus on is all the things that aren't coming the way we want. We aren't looking at that other yield. We aren't looking at, so I'm planting in this field here and it's showing up and yielding over in this field. This is where I'm getting my harvest, but I'm so focused on nothing's coming over here, so apparently I can't have what I want. But what we don't recognize is that we do have what we want. It's just not coming the way we've imagined it. And most of that imagination comes from comparison. Most of that imagination comes because most of the things that we dream of or want in our life are a reaction to suffering. Now that's an important thing to remember.
Yeah.
Most of the things that you want every day are a reaction to your suffering. You know, it's like, oh, well, I have a sore throat. Man, I wish this sore throat would be gone. I'm going to take all these remedies. Oh, it's not working because I still have my sore throat 5 minutes later. But the reality is that sore throat was coming towards you a week ago.
Right.
That sore throat needs to go through a process. It needs to heal. And so because of that instant gratification, we struggle. Now, let me loop back to that imagination. What we do is we use our imagination to try and pick everything we want in life because we don't like the life we have. We want the suffering to end. So if I can pick something I want in my life that will take the suffering away, then that's where my imagination goes, and that's what I become imagine. Then I look to other venues. I look at social media. I look at other medias to show me what it will look like when I get what I want. Show me what it'll look like when I stop suffering. That's not what your brain was for. That's not what your imagination is for. That's not using your imagination. That's using somebody else's imagination to imagine your life. But what we've got to do is we've got to start to use that creative force that's instinctively a part of you, inherently a part of you, and we have to start to use our imagination to see what we do have and create what we want out of what we have.
Yes.
And when I was a kid, that was just the way it was. I had a set of blocks. They'd been hand-me-downs from everybody I don't know. I just remember being the youngest. I'm confident that all of my siblings had the same experiences I had, similar experiences. And I had a box full of blocks, and I would create this construct. I would build a city, and I would take my Hot Wheels and they would race around the city. And I created a life and a world with what I had. I didn't have anything elaborate, but it was something that I was able to create with what I had. And that's the part that we have to recognize. You can create the world you want. You just have to be willing to create with what you have. Now, that's the other piece. The more I create with what I have, the more I have. So then I can create more. With that. But that's not what we're doing in our world. What we're doing is, I want to create with what you have.
Right. I want to create from more. This is what I don't have. I want more to be able to create what I want.
Right.
Instead of starting where you are and growing it and then creating what it is that you want.
And create what you have.
That's so huge.
Isn't it?
Yes, it is.
It's something we have to recognize.
It's that acceptance piece.
It is. And it's because we are always responding and reacting rather than being, as Stephen Covey would say, proactive. And we've got to start taking what we have and create what we have to create more with what we have. And then once we have more, we create more.
Yeah.
But we want this life where it's all now I want it now. I want what you have.
Mm-hmm.
I want those 6-pack abs. I want that house in Cabo.
A 6-figure income.
I want the 6-figure income.
Yeah, all of it.
I want all of these things. But the thing that I've learned too, and then I'm going to give you a minute because I've been doing all the talking.
You're doing great.
But some of the most successful people I've known, one of them I really admire. He was an immigrant from Poland, and he came in and he created a world for himself and his family and others that work for him, and has made this huge, significant life for himself. And it wasn't because he wanted it because it's what everybody else had. It's that he wanted it because he wanted more, and he took what he had and he built on it, and he had more, and then he built on it and he had more, and he built on it and he had more, and now it's helping other people's lives change. And that's a powerful thing.
Wow.
And that's something that we can do. It all starts with a dream. It all starts with your passion and what you have, and you take what you have, you build.
Yeah. And I love that too, because not only are we working on acceptance, right? But also just being really present.
Yes.
Like, stay in your now, have your vision and your creation of what is really what you want, which we've talked about a couple of lives ago, like really defining
what you want
inside of you, what you want, not the construct that you got from your parents or your friends or anything else that tells you, oh, you should have this. This is, you should be a doctor because this is XYZ, right?
Right. And then you can have these things.
Exactly. What do you really want life to be like? And so
stripping
away all of that bullshit, right? And just getting into what it is that you want.
We just went PG.
Our rating just went up. I don't know if it's up or down. What is that?
I don't know. I just
either.
thought it was awesome.
Anyway, and so knowing what it is that you want, staying in the now, and creating that.
Yeah.
That next step. For me too, Dean, and you guys know I'm just super transparent. Like, sometimes I look at where I want my life to go and I get really fearful because I don't feel equipped to be there. Right? And so that being able to stay here in this moment and just making those little creative steps can strip away all that fear too.
Right.
Of like, holy crap, I'm not Oprah, right? Like, I'm not her. But maybe in 30 years it could be.
And I do love that, because I know that that's one of the reasons you went into this, into communications, was to have that life. And that's, I love that you bring that up, because this is a point I really want to make out there, is there are so many people that want to become Instagram famous. Yes. They want to become Facebook famous.
Yes, YouTube stars.
And so they take these people like Justin Bieber and all these people that have had to become these sensations. Now, here's the thing. You put it so well. People are not equipped. When you get that immediate burst and you don't have a solid foundation to build it on, then you aren't equipped. But if you take what you have and you build upon it and create more, and build upon it and create more, and build upon it and create more, then you have the capacity. Now you're equipped. So yes, it is scary.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my gosh, what if I do become successful? And people are afraid of success because of the expectations that come with it. But when you do it in a way that it's designed to be done,
right,
where you're putting the creativity, you're putting the work, you're putting the energy into it, and then it's a sustainable thing.
Mm-hmm.
But you see these people that get this insta fame and they struggle. I mean,
Absolutely.
They struggle.
That's exactly where my mind was going, because when you do it, anything in your life, when you do it in the appropriate order, you're going to have your foundation. You're going to be solid. But when it's just like, boom, I mean, this is when we see all the celebrity rehab like shows that pop up, because it's a hot mess, because they don't know how to handle that kind of exposure and criticism. I can't even imagine living their world, right?
Yeah.
But to be able to have layer by layer got to there would probably be a very different story. And we see all the people in our lives that do lead a very public life that are solid individuals.
Yep. And that's an important piece.
Yeah. I do have to point out really quick up here, because Jamie, I think you made a great point. Not only is it being present and staying in now and creating what you want, but really liking yourself today still. I don't know if that's what you meant, but I like that. Like, bringing in that self-love and that grace and that, like, hey, if I stay just like I am today, my life is going to be good, right?
Yep.
Like creating that space of love for yourself. Like I love me.
Yep, absolutely. Well, we're there on time. I wanted to keep going.
We're going to have to 5-part this topic, not just 2. We can get fired up about it.
Please leave your comments in the comment section, and we will keep talking about this. It is something that's I'm super passionate about.
Oh, good job.
And it is something that we've got to stay on top of. Is we have got to learn to move ourselves forward in a healthy way. We've got to become those people that are creators in our world. We are creators by nature, but we have to start to create in a way that moves us forward. Everybody has greatness inside of them that needs to be uncovered. It has to be uncovered and discovered. But do we give up before we find it? Or do we keep going until it's there? Sometimes it's there at different places for people, but I will tell you, you are amazing. So thank you for tuning in.
Yes, thank you. One more addition to that. I believe that if we all can do like what Dean was just saying, right? Really just give the planet our individual special gifts. That's how we level up. That's
Absolutely.
how we take this thing to a whole different level
Yep.
as far as humanity and love and being just good to each other.
Yes.
So be you. We need you and your talent.
And give love.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you all for tuning in to Monday Night
Yeah,
Live.
best night of the week.
And we will see you all next week. Please like and share our videos if you would like to. Also leave your comments in our comments section and we will respond to those. Thank you all and have a wonderful Monday night. Have a great week.
Yes.
Be creators. I'm going high.
I'll go low.
All
Bye.
right.